Cannibals, cults, and cartels, oh my. Today we're going to take a look at the Savage Avengers Omnibus by Gerry Duggan. It has a $100 cover price and a 776 page count. Let's get into this omnibus review. This is the direct market variant cover here with artwork from Mike Deodato Jr., the Savage Avengers here, Venom, Dr. Voodoo, Elektra, Conan the Barbarian, Wolverine, and the Punisher. Great looking spine. Love the Savage Avengers logo. You got Conan down on the bottom. Then a little bit of images on the back, the Savage Horde of Conan. I love that it kind of has that Conan vibe of all the other Conan omnibus. On the inside of the dust jacket, on the left-hand side, you have a synopsis of the story. On the right-hand side, the creators. And then you have this beautiful wraparound cover here. Now, this is artwork from Savage Avengers number 13, titled Bang, Right to the Moon. And this is artwork from Patch Zurcher. Absolutely gorgeous. You got Magik, Conan the Barbarian, Elektra, Wolverine, Hellstrom, Doctor Strange. All these great characters on the cover here. Black Widow, Dr. Voodoo, just super good artwork. Now taking a look at the binding quick, it is sewn binding. You got the black little ribbon there. Not much of an eye in this, but luckily you don't get a ton of gutter loss throughout this book, as it is kind of a smaller omnibus at only 776 pages. You have a great Savage Avengers title page here, and then you have a list of the creators and all the issues that are collected in this omnibus. So your main writer on this is going to be Gerry Duggan, which I'm a huge fan of, and then artist-wise you're going to get Mike Deodato Jr., Kim Jacinto, Ron Garney, Pat Zurcher, Greg Smallwood, Butch Geis, Adam Gorham, and then also there is a representing Uncanny X-Men 190 through 191 in this, so you're going to get the Chris Claremont has written those issues there, and the artwork on it is of course the fabulous John Romita Jr. Just getting into what this omnibus collects quick, this omnibus collects Savage Avengers 2019 1 through 28 and annual number 1, Savage Avengers 2019 number 0, and it includes the Uncanny X-Men 190 through 191, Empire, Savage Avengers, and material from Free Comic Book Day 2019 Avengers Savage Avengers. Now, there is some previous reading material that you can get into. The Avengers No Road Home trade paperback that'll set up why Conan the Barbarian is sent to the Savage Land, but it's kind of unnecessary to read, and on the credit page here, they do have a little intro of what that is, so I'll just read that to you now. Conan the Barbarian joined a band of Avengers on a dire mission to restore light to the universe. The victory came at a cost for the Cimmerian. In the final battle, he was cast away by their enemy, but instead of landing back in the Hyborian Age, he found himself on present-day Earth in the Savage Land. So that's where this omnibus will pick up. You will pick up with Conan the Barbarian in the Savage Land as he meets up with these other Avengers to take on the great Kulan Gath. Now, Kulan Gath is a magician, and he actually appeared in Conan the Barbarian number 15 as a foe of Conan. Him and Conan had many battles, so this is why this storyline is very cool, just with the past history between Kulan Gath and Conan the Barbarian. There's also some other characters that have some history with him as well, as Magik, since he did appear in Uncanny X-Men 190 through 191. He will be your main antagonist throughout this entire run here, which I really appreciate. An ongoing story throughout this whole omnibus. It's really focused around Conan the Barbarian, which I really enjoyed. I think Conan gets a bad rap, and I think if you're not a Conan fan, you can really enjoy this story. I think they did a fantastic job of the characters throughout this book, their interactions. Conan the Barbarian is absolutely hilarious throughout this, and Kulan Gath is a great villain. And this really starts out, you're in the Savage Land, and there's this city of sickles. Now, Kulan Gath is taking all these people, like musicians and great warriors, and he's sacrificing their blood. He brings back the Marrow God. Our unlikely team of heroes here, Elektra, Dr. Voodoo, Conan the Barbarian, Venom, Wolverine, and Punisher will try and stop Kulan Gath and this Marrow God. And in doing so, they do defeat them temporarily, but Kulan Gath does poison all of these heroes, which will kind of play into some of the story later on. I kind of thought that was uneventful. Probably my only nitpick in this whole story is the whole poisoning aspect of it, because honestly, it doesn't really matter. This issue here with the Blood Brothers is really fantastic. After this whole thing happens with Kulan Gath, you really kind of follow Conan and his travels throughout this omnibus. So in this issue here, you'll travel with the Punisher and Conan the Barbarian as they're like in Antarctica and they're battling wolves, and Conan's actually like bashing in the head of wolves with the Punisher's like M60. It's pretty awesome. And then the end of this issue, you do meet Dr. Doom here. So Dr. Doom ends up meeting up with the Cimmerian Conan the Barbarian, and he does bring him to his kingdom in Latveria, and he serves him dinner, and Conan is all about it because he loves food drinks and bitches, which he talks about throughout this entire book. He's always in the bar. He's always trying to get with like Black Widow and stuff, which is hilarious. He also makes it very apparent throughout this run that he is not a fan of magic or sorcerers or anything to do with that. He is just a barbarian. He wants his sword and he just wants to hack shit up. That's basically the Conan the Barbarian way. And he's always talking shit to Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange and Kulan Gath. Just anybody who has anything to do with magic throughout this, he is just not into it. When he's tried to give amulets that have some magical powers, he's like, nah, fuck that. I have my sword. And it's just fabulous, man. I really, really enjoyed this version of Conan the Barbarian throughout this entire run here. I think Conan's character is written so well throughout this. Like I said, if you're not a Conan fan, you can definitely get into this material here specifically. I think Gerry Duggan does a fantastic job of just getting that presence that we all know and love of Conan, especially from like the movies and stuff like that witty humor, kind of the silliness of Conan the Barbarian, and just the absolute savagery that he also has, and just really just made the character so enjoyable throughout this entire run. So as you read along in this omnibus here, you do find out that Kulan Gath actually is in fact a cannibal. Like I said, he's been eating these sorcerers and such to gain their magic and all their skills and knowledge. Doctor Strange is quoted as saying, he's consumed sorcerers and their knowledge for thousands of years. We're going to need to pull out all the stops to prevent him from annihilating this world. So throughout this entire run, it's basically these characters here prepping, getting ready to do battle with Kulan Gath. And as you can see there, Shuma-Gorath is involved in this as well, as Kulan Gath has been poisoning people through cursed poppies, as Conan describes, and he's making these people avatars of Gorath. And he's slowly eating away at Shuma-Gorath, so he's gaining his powers, and he's going to become unstoppable if these heroes here cannot find a way to stop this cannibal sorcerer. So they have to go find this amulet from this dragon here, Sudarang, who is actually a dragon of Asgard. Now, he possesses the first eye. The dragon's eye of Agamotto represents power. So they're in search of this amulet here. So the team up will be Magik, Conan the Barbarian, you have the Black Knight actually making an appearance in this, and the Juggernaut as well, as he's trying to be a hero now and do good, so they recruit him actually from a bar to try and stop this dragon and get this amulet of power to stop Kulan Gath. Now, while they're doing that, another team of Punisher, Wolverine, Elektra, and Hellstrom actually, they battle the Priest of Sickles, and it has one of the most brutally violent scenes I've ever seen in comics. You just have to read it. I won't spoil it for you, but it is so cool. Heavy Fargo vibes. This series is definitely deserving of a parental advisory on the back of this omnibus, and the quote really does make a whole lot of sense on this, where it says, "The Savage Avengers offers insanely cool, unbridled violence for the heavy metal crowd." I mean, this surely does really have so much violence throughout it, and I absolutely enjoyed it, man. You can't have a Conan the Barbarian story without a whole lot of violence, and man, does it pack in the great violence throughout this. The artwork is gritty and realistic looking. It's absolutely beautiful. The colors are fantastic throughout this. It perfectly captures the tone of this series. Now, the writing in the Savage Avengers Omnibus is very, very strong, man. Gerry Duggan does a great job of bringing these characters together and making their interactions feel believable. The dialogue is sharp and witty, and the action throughout this is absolutely intense and super exciting. You do get some crossover issues with the Kane Black storyline in this as well, where you have Conan the Barbarian actually teaming up with the X-Men to take on the symbiote dragons, and Conan actually claims the Hellfire Club as his own and kind of just chills there, and which is pretty funny, man. The story in this concludes with a very satisfying ending. It was a very exciting story, super fun to read. I laughed out loud multiple times. Overall, the Savage Avengers Omnibus is just a great collection of issues from this series. The art is top-notch, the writing is strong, and the characters are engaging. If you're a fan of violent, action-packed comics, then this is definitely a series worth checking out, in my opinion. Highly, highly recommend picking this run up. And if you're going to pick it up from organic priced books, the best place to get your omnibus and other collected editions. Super fast shipping, bulletproof packaging, and amazing customer service. Use promo code DROCK to get $2 off your purchase at organicpricebooks.com. And now use code DROCK rock, ship it together to get 5% off a purchase of 3 or more books from organicpricebooks.com. Join the OPB family today. Link is down in the description. So on the back here in the extras, you get a bunch of different variant covers, absolutely beautiful artwork. This book is just fabulous, man. It was one of the random pre-orders I had, and I'm so glad I ended up picking this book up. Absolutely brutal and super entertaining. Let me know what you think about Savage Avengers down in the comments, and as always, thank you for watching.